portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
They may be poised for one of their busiest years on record. The Parliamentary Registration Department is preparing for a series of constitutional referenda, the first dealing with citizenship, by next June. But these changes can only be successful with a clean register. Officials at the department are already asking the public to help them achieve that, as Janae Noel Ferguson reports.
The Parliamentary Registration Department is in preparation mode as Bahamians will head to the polls to decide on various issues. Acting Parliamentary Commissioner Sherlyn Hall says the demand is great and this means more manpower and more resources.
The country in general will have to spend more money, come up with more money to run a referendum, because these things do cost money. When you think of payment of staff for overtime, printing of ballots, etc., and we perhaps may have a few more ballots because the register would have increased from what it was in January 2013.
Now, that referendum on gaming reportedly cost over $1 million, and Hall says the upcoming poll could be around the same. Meanwhile, he says his department is ensuring that they have an accurate register, as the Prime Minister recently announced that a referendum will be held no later than the end of June next year.
Persons who have died, they will be deleted. We do that every day. And persons who just turned 18 will be added. So right now we have over 174,000 plus persons on the register. Whenever a proclamation has been declared, the minute a proclamation has been declared and a writ has been issued, then registration stops the day before the writ has been issued.
Persons wishing to register are reminded to bring their passports or birth certificates with a photo ID. Hall warns that an affidavit will not be accepted by the Parliamentary Registration Department. Now, he expects to have his team fully mobilized within 3 months for the upcoming referendum that will only deal with citizenship. His department will continue to liaise with the Family Islands to ensure that the process remains intact.
Returning officers and presiding officers will be well trained. Whatever oversight has happened for anybody, and I don't think of anything out of the ordinary, we continue to do the best and perfect the system as best we can.
And if you are a Bahamian citizen who have reached the age of 18 and have not registered, you are encouraged to head on over to the Parliamentary Registration Department before the official proclamation is given. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
While the Parliamentary Registration Department prepares to meet the demand for the upcoming constitutional referendum, which is expected to be held next year, Leader of Government Business in the House and Minister of National Security, the Honorable Dr. Bernard Notich, told ZNS News about some of the issues that were faced in the previous referenda.
For the last referendum on gambling, and the first one that I had an opportunity to observe, which was, as you know, in 2002. In both cases, the public were ill-prepared to make judgments. I think the first one really had too many issues in it, and the last one was so emotive without people having the facts. And so I think that it is a good recommendation from the Constitutional Commission that we should delay the referendum and concentrate on educating the people about the issues that will be in each referendum as it occurs.
The Free National Movement is voicing its opposition to the recent appointment of Mrs. Arinthia Komalafe as Managing Director of the Bahamas Development Bank. In a statement issued today, FNM Chairman Darren Cash attacked the appointment on the grounds that Mrs. Komalafe had served as the new Providence Chairman of the PLP's Women's Branch, attributing the appointment to the Prime Minister with the board as, quote, only going along, end quote. The FNM statement said, quote, the factor of this appointment that is immediately noteworthy and a point of political contention is what it demonstrates about Mr. Christie's double standard when it comes to affording opportunities to talented and qualified Bahamians, end quote.
PLP chairman, or the PLP chairman that is, shot back, calling the FNM chairman's statement beyond incredible given the appointments made by the former administration.
Ms. Arinthia Komalafe is a highly qualified Bahamian female. who, if you check her credentials, you will see that despite the suggestion by Darren Cash, she is eminently qualified in the area of banking and also in law. As regards to her being a political appointee, Mr. Cash should be the last one to raise such a point, because Mr. Cash himself served as chairman of the Bahamas Development Bank. The recent retired chairman, managing director of the Bahamas Development Bank, was at one time the treasurer of the Free National Movement.
Well, you probably know her as the face of the Public Hospitals Authority's health tip on our newscast each night, but Dr. Indira Grimes has a wonderful story of overcoming breast cancer. Dr. Grimes has been on campaigns to make Bahamian women aware of this deadly disease.
Dr. Grimes discovered a lump in her breast at age 32. It was stage 2 breast cancer. Having a family history of the disease, it wouldn't be the last time she saw cancer in her body. As a physician, Dr. Grimes was fully aware of what she needed to do. She told us about her experience and what steps women should take in caring for their bodies and getting the treatment they need if diagnosed with breast cancer.
I discovered it as a lump myself on self-examination, and had it investigated and found out it was cancer. And then I had a second diagnosis in 2008 after having my son, and I also found on self-examination another lump in the opposite breast. It was an overwhelming experience, I'd admit, but you know, once I found the lump, I made it a point to have it investigated early. And that was, I think, the major thing for me, to have early detection, ensure, get an early diagnosis, and then quickly deal with it in terms of treatment. So I had surgeries, chemotherapies, radiation, and I just went, you know, full force with it, getting all the treatment needed as early as possible. I would encourage women to do their breast self-exams. However, it's not foolproof. So anytime they notice any changes in their breast, whether it be skin changes, nipple changes, any lump changes, that they should report it to their doctor as soon as possible, and go also for their regular breast exams to be done by their physician. And as the physician recommends, have their mammograms done on an annual basis. And this would be dependent on their age and their risk factors.
The Miami Heat closed out its preseason basketball camp at the Atlantis Resort earlier today. Prime Minister Perry Christie was in attendance as a guest of Heat President Pat Riley, and he noted the huge impact this will have on sports tourism.
The commitment to sports tourism is a wonderful commitment, because we are now seeing the results. There is no doubt that we have to continue to expand and deepen the tourism industry and to find ways to attract people here. The fact that Atlantis was able to have the team here, to have the college teams here, have now given them a special brand in the marketplace, where people now would know that coming to Atlantis is a special kind of experience.
Well, still to come, Atlantis is still feeling the heat.
And how local government is working in Exuma. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Charisma Robinson. Financial services company Synovus has appointed Paul Andy Gomez, receiver and receiver manager of W.B. Johnson Investment Company and William B. Johnson entities, which are presently in receivership. The said entities together own the outstanding and issued shares of Ganaki Abaco Development Company Limited. Orchid Bay Resort, which has a 60-slip arena for mega yachts, is comprised of approximately 203 acres planned for exclusive home construction, a beachfront hotel, and a commercial center. The Grant Thornton Bahamas founding and managing partner gained control following a Supreme Court order. Okeana's Heart Institute has announced that it will be hosting a free educational seminar for the business community and all other interested parties in Grand Bahama on October 22nd. Chief Medical Officer and International Cardiologist for Okeana's Heart Institute, Howard Walpole, will provide an overview of stem cell therapy for heart disease, the source of stem cells, how it is intended to work, and the protocol that will be used by the cath lab for patients once the facility is open in February 2014. And in international business, the number of Americans filing new claims for jobless benefits remained at pre-recession levels last week, but growth in the massive U.S. service sector cooled in September as firms took on fewer new workers. The data could provide some of the strongest guidance this week on the health of the U.S. economy as a partial government shutdown delays the release of other data, including the monthly employment report that was scheduled to be released on Friday. This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Charisma Robinson.